Hi, I'm the Smoking Elk, and today we are cooking a pork butt on the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. So I want to show off a nice low and slow cook on the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. Now I say low and slow, if you've been watching my videos you know me by now. My low and slow is called hot and fast, and we cook at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 150 Celsius. And that's what we're going to do with this pork butt. Now this pork butt here is about 5 kilos. It's a huge pork butt. It's a bone-in shoulder if you're looking to ask your butcher what to cook. So this is a bone-in shoulder. You can also use pork collar, which is also great for pulled pork. So I've got this huge bone-in pork shoulder or pork butt. It's got this fat cap on the top here. So what we're going to do is just trim off some of this fat cap, because not all of this is going to render down. When you're cooking hot and fast, it takes a little longer to render down. So I'm going to trim off a lot of this fat cap, then we're going to get a rub on there, and then I'm going to show you how we set up with the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. There we go, that's all trimmed up and rubbed up. As you've seen there, I've trimmed off quite a bit of that fat cap, because like I said, all of that isn't going to render down, and we don't want to waste any of that rub on the fatty part that we're not going to be able to eat. So I've trimmed that down. Now the rub, I've put quite a lot of rub on there. Don't worry about that. Pork butts can take a lot of nice sweet rub. So that is absolutely perfect for me. So I'm going to be cooking this on the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. Obviously we're turning this into pulled pork, so we're going to take this to a temperature of around about 93, 94, 95 degrees Celsius. But once it gets to that kind of temperature, we're going to start probing it for tenderness. We're going to put our thermopen in there, or a cocktail stick, or whatever you've got for tenderness. And once that probe slips through with no resistance at all, then we know it's done. But for the first 3 hours, this is going to take on some cherry smoke at about 300 degrees. Once it's taken on enough smoke and we've got a nice bark forming on there, I'm going to wrap this up and we're going to put it back in there at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 165, 170 Celsius until we're done. So I've got the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. We've loaded it with some charcoal. I've got a couple of firelighters in there to get the charcoal lit. We've chucked some cherry wood in there for the smoke. Put the slow roller into place. As you've seen, I've adjusted the hinge, so we've lifted the lid up to enable us to put that slow roller in place. The smoke is rolling, we're ready to put this in, so let's crack on and let's introduce this pork butt to some smoke. Guys, so this has taken just 5.5, maybe 6 hours. It's been sat in the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe at around about 325 to 350 Fahrenheit. So a nice steady temperature, a nice hot temperature, hotter than you would normally maybe do pulled pork at, but I'm happy with this. It's taken on loads of that cherry smoke. It smells amazing. We're going to open it up and take a look. The big reveal. Oh, wow. Pork butt in there is looking absolutely incredible. This bark on there is soft, it's squidgy. That is exactly what I want from my pork shoulder. So this has been resting for about 45 minutes. I normally rest it for between 2 and 3 hours, but on camera we don't have the luxury of that time, do we? So without further ado, we're just going to dig in there and just see exactly how we've done. See there, that was pulled apart really easily. It's remained tender, moist, succulent, juicy, whatever word you want to use. Now, like I said, I normally rest these for 2 or 3 hours, give them a chance to cool down a bit more. This is rested for about 45 minutes. We haven't got the luxury of time, but it's turned out beautifully. I've used the claws in the end to just finish shredding that up. I just want to show you just how tender this is, how easy that pulls apart. You've also got this beautiful smoke ring on here as well. So I'm very happy with that. The Kamado Joe Kettle Joe has kept the temperature nice and stable throughout the cook. We've got a beautiful smoke ring on there. It's really soft, it's really tender, it's really juicy. Is it really tasty? You bet it is. That is absolutely awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. on a smoking elk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.